day and obedience. But before we start our discussion, let us pray. In the name of the Father, of the Son, of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Dear God, it seems like lots of uncertainty around us. So many people who need prayers. Today I pray for those whose health is compromised by the coronavirus and other health issues. For those who suffer from the economic impact of the virus in travel, manufacturing, hospitality, energy, or so many other industries. For healthcare workers and first responders and other public servants who put themselves in harm's way for us. For our leaders of the world, our countries, states, and cities, as they seek to help manage this challenge. God, it can be overwhelming, but you tell us over and over again not to be afraid. Show me how to trust in you. As I examine my heart this Lenten season, help me to turn away from my concern with self and turn my heart, hands, and prayers toward the concerns of others. In the name of Jesus Christ, I pray. Amen.
Okay, good day. And as we start our discussion, I will call you each, then you will just say if your name and if you're okay and how is your day. Shin Carl, you will just okay.
Hello, good morning. I'm Shingal Guevara and I'm 15 years old. And my life here is very not normalized because of the pandemic today. But we can all start together. Napayapa.
Okay, thank you, Shin Carl. Christine, Christine, you're next. Okay.
Good afternoon. I'm Christine Dito Paz. I'm 15 years old and my life in this big deal pandemic. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Christine. Next, Janaya.
Good day, everyone. I'm Leon, 15 years old. I'm
Okay. How about Dayan?
Good afternoon. I'm Dayan May Jerusalem from Dan Obedience. I'm 16 years old. My life right now is stable. Thanks God that we survived now in pandemic. Thank you.
Okay, very good. And lastly, we have Jethro.
Hello, I'm Jetro Anton Del Rosario, 16 years old from 10 Obedience, and my life is just like a roller coaster. Sometimes you are happy, sometimes you are sad, like that.
Okay. Thank you, Jethro. And I hope we are all safe because we understand that life is not perfect, but still we are moving on. We are fighting because at the end of the day, it's not about the problem, but how we solve it. Do you have your ball pen and your notebook?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Pastor.
On your notebook or even on a separate sheet of paper, write your age. in a big font so I can read. Write your age, then under your age, you will write one word that will describe yourself. One word that will describe yourself. Then, under that description, that one word, you will write what can you do to other people during pandemic. What can you do to other people during pandemic? Or what help can you give to other people during pandemic? Okay, I will give you 1 minute to do that. If you're done, kindly show your answers to the camera so I can see. Okay, are you done? May I see your answers? Okay, for Shin Carl, 15. Then we have, what is that word, Shin Carl?
Thoughtful po.
Okay, thoughtful. Then what can you do? I can help.
Them by giving their physical and health products po.
Okay. Thank you, Shin Carl. May I hear from Diane May?
16 years old po. I'm an easygoing. I can help other people by looking for their safety.
Okay, so later, we will connect your answers in our lesson. But before we continue with our discussion, let us watch this video.
As you breathe, someone is taking their last breath. As you eat, someone is going to bed with an empty stomach. Someone's longing for that leftover food you just trashed. Someone wishes they had clean water to drink, a roof over their head, and a place to call home. As you ignore that call from your mom or dad, someone wishes their parents were still alive. They'd give just anything to have one moment with them. Some people don't even know whom their birth parents are and have been on a quest searching for them their entire lives. As you complain about your kids and ignore your parental duties, as you compare your children to someone else's, as you abuse your own children both physically and verbally, just because of something they did, as you think about going to that clinic to abort that unborn child, I want you to know that someone wishes they could have one. They'd give anything to hear the cry of their own child. And they've been spending thousands of dollars trying to conceive, but to no avail. I know life is hard, and no one is immune from problems. No matter how much you've got, you will always lack something. You will always have something to complain about, because human wants are unlimited, but our needs are basic. You don't really need much to be happy. You are unhappy not because of what you don't have, you are unhappy because you are ungrateful for what you've got, and you're in constant pursuit for something new. We always want the latest phone, the latest car, the latest clothes and bags, and all for what? To look good and feel important? To get a few compliments from people? Can't you look good with the clothes you've got? There are new clothes on the market each and every day. There's a new iPhone and a new Samsung literally every year. So are you gonna keep spending loads of cash whenever there's something new on the market? These material things will never fulfill you. They can never fill the void and emptiness inside of you. I see people with a lot of clothes and bags as if they've got a mini boutique in their homes. But they always complain they have nothing to wear and always want to go on a shopping spree. You wonder why they are always broke? They live way above their means just to create a facade. Their bank accounts are always in the red and they are always borrowing from people just to keep up appearances. Stop comparing yourself to others. This life is not a race. Be content with what you have, and God will definitely bless you with more. I'd like you to spend a little time to count your blessings, name them one by one. And you'll realize you've got more than you think. As long as you breathe, as long as your heart beat, you gotta be grateful. Because what you've got now is something you prayed about in the past, and someone is praying for the same thing right now. So when you go on your knees to pray, I want you to stop going with a to-do list for God, because God is not your personal assistant, neither is He your servant. He's not a means to an end, but He's Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. So thank God for everything. Thank Him for the food on your table. Thank Him for the air you breathe. Thank Him for each step you take. Thank Him for the eyes to see and the ears to hear. Thank Him when things are going good and when things are bad. Be thankful no matter what, and you will never lack. If you like this video, please share it with your friends.
Okay, that's a meaningful video, and I hope you learned something. Can you give your insights about the video that you have watched, Jethro? What did you realize after watching the video?
I realized that I'm not the only one who only have problems now in pandemic. Yeah.
Okay. Because everyone is always having a problem and there is no exception with that. So we should always look at positive sides, because no matter what happened, it is not the problem like what I have said, but it's how we solve those. So as we proceed, we will hear our house rules for this discussion. The first one will be keep your microphone off except you are told to speak. Then keep your camera open, listen carefully, then participate actively. And as of now, I am observing these rules, these house rules in our discussion. I hope that we will follow it until the end. So the next thing will be the TTC, and it will be delivered by our Sheen Carl Guevara.
Okay, sir. For today's TTC po is, if you want to change different, start from yourself. If you want to change first, change yourself and start removing all your fear and be brave in life's challenges.
Okay, very good. If we will connect that TTC, that we should always start with ourselves. If we want to change something, that like in the video, we should focus on the positive side that we have, not on the things that we don't have, and we should not compare ourselves with other people, because if we will always find what is lacking, what are the things that we are not having, then we will not be happy, we will not be contented. But if we will focus on the things that we have, then we will enrich ourselves and we will have that change for our future. Okay, thank you, Shin Carl.
Thank you po.
And for this, before we start our formal discussion, you will answer this 15-item question. So you will just choose the letter of the correct answer and write it on separate sheet of paper. So it's A, B, C, D. It's okay if you will get low, because later we will identify if you really learned. So your score here will be compared to the score later after the discussion. So you may start. Answers only. Okay. If you don't have question, you may turn off your microphone. Hello, Christine. Can you? Okay, thank you. Number 1, it is a critical factor in the development of reading skills and comprehension. A, language. B, sentence. C, vocabulary. D, word. Number 2, it is an example or an instance that helps make something clear. A, analogy. B, description. C, facts. D, illustration. Number 3, it is the process of breaking words down into their basic parts to determine word meaning. A, prefix. B, root. C, structural analysis. D, suffix. Number 4, it is a comparison of two things based on their being alike in some way. A, analogy. B, facts. C, opinion. D, statistics. Number 5, it is visually using figurative language, especially in a literary work. A, classification. B, description. C, etymology. D, imagery. Reminder, it's okay if you don't know the answer, because later we will compare your score before and after the discussion. Number 6, it is one or more paragraphs that explain a complex term. A, context clues. B, dictionary. C, expanded definition. D, thesaurus. 7, it is an explanation of where a word came from. A, classes. B, comparison. C, description. D, etymology. Number 8, it is a comparison between two things, typically for the purpose of explanation. A, analogy. B, cause and effect. C, etymology. D, word origin. Number 9, all of the following sentences are considered in making expanded definition except A, make formal sentence definition. B, supply additional short definitions. C, use different expanded definition techniques. Then D, use pure opinions and make readers believe in you. Number 10, it should be done in the main complex term. A, make it bold. B, make it underlined. C, put it inside parentheses. D, put it inside quotation mark. And for 11 to 15, we have a passage. So let me read it for you. Social media can be a destructive weapon or a very useful thing to people. That is the sentence number 1. Second sentence, there are commonly used applications such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and other applications. Number 3, social media can be associated to interaction, while media can be connected to a way or breach. Number 4, if the users are not using it responsibly, their privacy might be greatly affected. Number 5, to sum it up, we should plant more trees. Question 11. What sentence explains the word connection about social media? A, 2, B, 3, C, 4, D, 5. Number 12. What sentence uses example to explain social media? A, 2, B, 3, C, 4, D, 5. 13. What sentence where the subject of the text is located? A, 1, B, 2, C, 3, D, 4. Number 14. What sentence gives a cause and effect relationship? A, 1, B, 2, C, 3, D. 4. Number 15. What sentence is not necessary in the text? A. 2, B. 3, C. 4, and letter D. 5. Sorry for typographical error because I just copy-paste it from the PDF file. So let us check. Let us check your answer. Okay, number 1, C. Number 2, D. Number 3, C. Number 4, A. Number 5, A. Number 6, C. Number 7, D. Number 8, A. Number 9, D. 10, A. 11, B. 12, A. 13, A. 14 and 15, dog. So, may I ask your scores? Okay, Jethro, what is your score?
Sir, 3 po.
3. That's okay. Dayan,
9 po.
9. Shin Carl,
9 po, sir.
9. Janaya,
10 po.
10. Then Christine,
7 po.
7. Okay, that's good. And later we will identify your score if it's improving or not. So we will have our discussion. So objectives for today: locate expanded definition in the text, identify the word being described by expanded definitions, and determine the type of expanded definitions. So we will have a review. So for you to answer what's in, can you define what is technical and operational terms? Who can answer? Define technical. What's the difference between technical and operational terms? We have raised hand. You can click that if you want to answer. Then what is the difference between technical and operational? Okay, what is technical and operational? Do you have an idea? It is just a review. Okay, Shin Carl.
A technical definition is a definition in technical communication describing or explaining technical terminology. Technical definitions are used to introduce the vocabulary which makes communication in a particular field succinct and ambitious. For example, the lilac crest from medical terminology is the top ridge of the hip.
Okay, very good. So when we say technical and operational terms, technical, like what Shin Carl said, that it is the definition, the formal definition that we can read, that we can see in dictionary. While operational, if you will use technical, for example, I will use the word research, then I will look for the definition of research in the dictionary. That is technical because I got it from dictionary. But if I will use the research and I will give my own definition, for example, I will make an article, then I will self-explain what research is. For example, in my study, I use research as my instrument to know how effective the strategy is. Then that will be operational. So technical, it is for general definition that you can give to other people. For example, dictionary. The definitions from dictionary is for all. It's for general. But when we say operational, from the word itself, operation, meaning from your own process, how did you define a particular term? So thank you. So our lesson for today, obviously it's about expanded definition. So from the word expanded, meaning it is widening the definition for us to know what the meaning or what is the meaning of a particular term. So kindly read before we have the different techniques of expanded definition. Let us read this text. So it is written by your teacher, and the module, if you will see, because I know that you did not receive yet the English module 3 for fourth quarter, because it is ONHS who made that, and that module is being used by different schools. So it's an honor for us that we made a module for all schools in Bulacan. And kindly read this. Christine, can you see?
Generation transition. Time reveals consistent changes, and no one in the universe can stop it. As time continuously runs, generation takes its transition too. It includes how people live and interact during their generations, considering the factors that affect their personalities. Millennials and Generation Z are under transitions that has a latest study from Generation Z that clarified the differences between the two. Since 1980 from 1996 are considered as millennials. All of them are enjoying watching televisions. These are the people who underwent technological explosion of internet and social media. Thus, reality to the context of things found in online platforms. They are also called as Generation Y.
Okay, thank you. Nice for reading the selection. So we can see from the title itself, generation transition. So from the previous generation, we are having the new generation. So it is the transition between the two. So, but we will focus to millennial and generation Z. So next, kindly read, Diane.
Most of the millennials nowadays are having their own family. If millennials are familiar with technology, therefore their children too, who might be considered as part of Generation Z. Due to explosion of internet and social media in millennials, who might be their parents, Generation Z becomes more interested because this explosion continues to grow. Many complex things in internet are crossed by Generation Z, but they can still manage and adapt it. They can be digital natives. These are the people who are born 1996 or 1997 up until 2012 or 2015. Because their parents are millennials, they are having more time playing with their parents' gadgets. They are also given gadgets when they are young in different purposes. Communication becomes easy, especially when they are far from each other.
Okay, thank you. So the scope of millennials, or the Generation Z rather, are who are born 1996 or 1997 up until 2015. So maybe you are belong, and I am also belong to Generation Z, and the millennials are our parents. So if Generation Z are really into using gadgets like us, we are always using or handing our cell phones, we can easily adapt in different applications. That is because our parents are not, even though they are not that very comfortable with technology, but still they can use it. They can use cell phone, they can use television, they can use other gadgets. Therefore, as a result, we are the result because they are familiar also with those gadgets. Therefore, we can still use gadgets in more comfortable way that we without even teaching, even without tutorial, we can use different applications. For example, there is a famous application TikTok. Just because of watching a particular video, we can also use that application by signing up in on Instagram. Even though not there is no one who is teaching you, still you can make or you can use that application because we are really comfortable with social media application. So the next one, kindly read, Anton.
Um, Based on some philosophers, they are named after letter because Generation X was discovered with no particular name. As a result, the generation that had followed this used the letter after X in our alphabet. Generation Y is called Millennials, not because they are millennial, but they are more exposed to internet and social media, which brought significance from the previous generations. On the other hand, Generation Z is also defined as I generation, which are the first generation to grow in an environment with high technology. Millennials are the next leaders, which will contribute remarkable impact to the progress and development of the society. Generation Y and Z are not synonymous, but they are interconnected because its consecutive phase of the generation there are changes that make them distinct from one another. These generations are both exposed to technology, but the difference is how early they are exposed and how early they own a gadget.
Okay, thank you for that clear reading, Anton. So from this part, we can really identify that there is still connection between Generation Y and Z because we, Generation Z, are from Generation Y because most probably our parents are under Generation Y. So the reason why it's called Generation Y because the generation it followed is Generation X. When you say Generation X, so we can still observe that if we do not know the name, we are using X. For example, brand X, label X. So that is the purpose because they don't have the exact name. They named it Generation X, like unknown, generation unknown. So the next generation after that is being named as letter Y as to next to letter X. So as to next to letter Y, letter Z. So X, Y, Z. So they are the faces of the generation. So it is called millennials because the generation Y called millennials because they are exposed to television, to cell phone, even though not with internet, but still they can use gadgets. Like our parents, they can use television, smart TVs, smartphones, unlike to Generation X. When we say Generation X, they are the people who are somehow not really comfortable with the technology. So Generation Y, they are somehow exposed with social media and other gadgets, and especially if our parents are exposed, then we are more exposed with them. So we are called Generation Z. So, but even though we have different generations, still we are interconnected because we are from that kind of generation. So everything that we have now, it is because of the previous generation. And second to the last, kindly read, Shin Carl.
Moreover, despite of difference in terms of our generation, there are things that should never fade and forgotten. These are respect, love, and acceptance. These are really essential. People could live without technology before, but they cannot live without love. People can live happily because of trendy and updated gadgets, but we cannot be truly happy without acceptance. People can live freely without posting on social media, but we cannot live freely without respecting one another. Social media, technology, and the internet should not be the things that will separate our closeness and unity. Desire and wants of people are insatiable, which lead to always growing and changing ways of life living. There, there will always be exact satisfaction, worldly things, belief, the
Like,
sincerity, belie the sincerity and authenticity of happiness and love. This give misinterpretation of true meaning of life. Study said that millennials really suffered from different agonizing experiences, especially in financial terms that led to I generation to secure fund and saving because they witnessed their hardship. This experience really awakened their heart to learn more from what social media can give.
okay, thank you, Shinkard. So we can observe that on your screen, we can see words which are bold, in bold face. So the trendy, insatiable, belie, authenticity, millennials, agonizing, and I generation. So when we say trendy from the word itself, trend, it is famous. Then when we say insatiable, or it is the word for we cannot really we cannot really um, get away, we cannot remove it. So when we say belie, worldly things belie, meaning hinder, it is a lie. It is not truth. It is not the main focus of our life. Then authenticity, meaning the truthfulness, how true, how how authentic it is. Then millennials, it is defined, and I generation. Then agonizing, from the word itself, agony, meaning suffering. So it is said here in this part that the reason why our parents, they are really suffering, as far as I can remember, they are really suffering from financial problems. So like my mother is a teacher also, but she is from Pangasinan, and her mother, my grandmother, died when she was little. She was hit by a jeepney, and it caused to her death. And because of that, my mother really, because it's a farm, we know that in a farm it is not that easy to live. There are always things, hard things before you get money, before earning money. So he or my mother really exerted an effort to finish her study. So because of that story, or I know that your parents also have their backgrounds, they have also their hardships before. If they will share it to us, therefore we will really learn from them. So if we learn from them, then we will apply. So if my mother sacrificed many things before, so I should do also. So that is the really connection of generation from another generation. So we should always look to the lesson that they have gained before, because like what they are saying, that they are the people who know better than us because they are older, they are experienced or more experienced than us. So we should always listen to them. And last part of the generation transition, kindly read Janaya. Is Janaya here?
In conclusion, there are no expectations in terms of generation because at the end of the day, it is not how many likes you have received, but how many people you help sincerely and how many hearts you inspire. Time is fleeting. It is like vehicle that pass by in front of us. People better maximize the opportunity to become productive and effective part of the society. No one can retrace to the past, not nor fair to the future. People can control what is happening in the present in order to recover from the past and to prepare for the future. No matter you are a millennials, a generation, or any generation you belong, people should never deprive other nor ourselves with the love that we deserve, or else there will be feeling of being incomplete. Let us make all chances, especially online platforms, to be our voice, influence and motivate one another. That event will be one of the most appealing in the eyes of our God, that even generation change, His love remains.
Okay, very good. Janaya, thank you. So in this part, it is the conclusion part. We have the word fleeting, retrocede, fair, millennials, I generation, and the pride. So from the word itself, time is fleeting. It is like vehicle that passed by in front of us. So it is, we can really know that meaning of fleeting is speed or fast. The time is very fast, so we should always maximize the time that we have. So no one can retrocede to the past nor fare to the future, or go back to the past or go to the future. Then deprive, meaning you are not giving what they need. So it's very important. I made this article because I really know that our students used to, or you, our students, are really exposed with social media application, and there are many posts, there are many information in social media application that are not nice, that we are simply seeing fake news or updates about bashing someone. So we should always use the chances, the platforms, the posts, the Facebook, Instagram, or any application that you are using for the betterment. Because at the end of the day, it is not the likes that you will receive, but it is the help that you give to other people, how you use all of the chances that you have to help other people. Because life is very fleeting, it's very short. So we should always focus our life in doing good things. So in that event will be one of the most appealing in the eyes of our God, that even generation changes, His love remains. So it is very remarkable part of my text, that even generation changes, love should always remain. Because even though we are changing in terms of technology, in terms of how we interact with other people, as long as there is love, there is no problem. So what is Generation Z? What are the differences between millennials and Generation Z? What do you notice about the highlighted words used by the author? How did the author define those words? And what strategy did the author use to define those words? So what is Generation Z again? As what you have understood in our text a while ago, can you raise your hand if you know the answer? Jethro? What is Generation Z and Generation Y? What do you think is the difference between the two? Okay, I think Jethro is not available. Diane, can you have what is the difference between the two? Can you tell us? Generation Y and Generation Z, the millennials and I generation. Hello, Diane.
Generation Y is born
1990.
1997
Okay,
up
very
to
good.
2012.
Okay. That is Generation Z. Okay, very good. So when you see Generation Y, they are the Millennials. They are born after Generation X. And when we say Generation Z, they are born after Generation Y. So despite our different ages and generations, we are imperfect and there are rooms for improvement. We better look for positivity, like our lesson for today, to look at things for better understanding. So if we will connect it to our video a while ago, that we are always having problems. And sometimes we are thinking that we are the only ones who are experiencing and suffering for a particular conflict or problems. But given the fact that all of the people are having problems, so we should always look to the positivity. So like our lesson, expanded definition, we should not always look at dictionary, search on Google, but we can still find the understanding, the meaning of a particular term within the text or the context clues or like that. So get a dictionary from like this. So it is a GIF, but it is not playing. So for instance, you are reading a science articles with the terms which are not familiar to you. Will you go back to dictionary? Janaya, if you will read a science article, for example, you are reading or answering your module in science, will you go back to dictionary? Is it stressful? Is it difficult to go back to dictionary?
No. Yes, I'll go back to dictionary because uh,
Okay, but do you find it stressful? Will be it hard for you to go back?
no, because the not familiarized word is
Okay, Shin Carl, you are raising your hand.
Yes, sir, because dictionary had so much information about the science article.
Okay, thank you. So we can always look at dictionary, search in dictionary the terms that we are not familiar with. But I will teach you how to see a particular definition of a term, of unfamiliar term, by using expanded definition. So when we say expanded or extended definition, it defines and explains a single term, concept, or object down the meaning of a specific word, or defines an abstract concept, goes deeper than a simple dictionary definition. An extended definition is one or more paragraphs that attempt to explain a complex term. So when we say extended definition, like what you have said, that you will search or you will look at dictionary and you will search the meaning. But beyond that, we can give meaning to a particular term. For example, you will define trendy. The word trendy, you can search it on Google. You can have your dictionary. But when you say trendy, you can explain it by giving your own example. Meaning, what are the trendy things that we have today? What are the things which are famous that you experience? Like that. So you can attach yourself to the meaning. You can give meaning by your own. So that is expanded definition or extended definition, because aside from the dictionary, the definition that you have, you will add more that they can relate to the definition that you have. How you will relate the definition? By citing example, by citing situation where the meaning is connected, and the readers who will read your own definition will really understand that. So we have terms. For example, the main term is algorithm. So you will make it in boldface. What is boldface? That is somehow more blackened or more readable. like that. Algorithm, carbohydrates, computer memory. So they are bold-faced. They are bold, meaning they are bigger than the rest. Then, if you will include what were classes or which class they belong, then you will underline it. For example, algorithm, it is under finite description. Carbohydrates, they are under food group. Computer memory is under one of three basic components of computer, or the classification or the category they belong, you will underline it. So this is the rules. So again, the main term you will make it bold in boldface. Then the category or the classification, you will underline it. Then the real definition or the description characteristic of the main term, you will italicize it. When you say italicize, it is not straight. You will make it somehow slant, like that. So again, there are three rules. The main term, boldface. The category or classification, you will underline it. For example, English. English is your main term. English, you will make it bold. Then the category, English is one of the 8 subjects that we have in school. 8 subjects, you will underline it. Then the real meaning of English, English is one of the 8 subjects in our school which I can empower, which I can enhance my communication skill. So those description will be italicized. So again, the main term, boldface. The category classification, underline, then italicize, or you will make it in slant form like what you can see on your screen if it is the characteristic or the definition. It's very important to choose the source of the definition, because if you will just get it to somewhere which we are not yet sure if it's really valid or not, then the definition will be weak. It is not strong as what we can have in dictionary. So the sources should be good. So we have here the checklist to select the kinds of discussion to include your extended definition. So the sources, it can be in description. From the word itself, describe, meaning you will describe a particular term. So we have question, does anything related to the term being defined need to be described? So you will describe maybe the characteristic, the appearance. So we have example from the text we have read a while ago. Millennials are mostly watching television and exposed in using different social media applications. So the main term is millennials because it is in boldface. So what's the description? They are mostly watching television. So it is being described that millennials are really having fun with watching television. So the next source will be process narration. When we say process narration, meaning you are narrating, you are telling a particular process. So what is the process under that term? So generation transition. So the generation transition will be our main term. Then we will define it. What is the process of generation transition? So takes place after different considerations and factors. First, after a big movement in society such as technological explosion, which paved way from different generations. So what is the process narration there? So generation transition is explained as a process. How the generation went to transition. It is after a big movement in society after technological explosion. So additional definition, meaning like what I have said a while ago, that after getting the main definition from dictionary, you will give additional definition to support your main definition. So example, generation transition is also defined as the changes happening in lifestyle and social interaction which lead to have significant differences. So the additional information definition is that it is the changes which are happening in terms of lifestyle and interaction. Then historical background, it's very easy. You will cite a particular date or particular part of history that happened before. Then, as a definition, for example, Generation Y. What is the history between Generation Y? It is evolved 1996, 1997. It is called I generation or Generation Z by different philosopher, meaning historical, because there is a date that we can really see it before, that it is a part of what happened or it's a part of history. So it's very easy. You will use a particular situation which happened before, and that is historical background. Then cause or causes, it is using what will happen if you will use that main term. For example, due to transition of generations, research proved that millennials were really affected because of the problems happened in the society, which affected how they raised their children. So the cause, meaning it is the reason of why significant thing is happening. So in our example, millennials are the cause why our children or why their children are really living in that way, because millennials, because they suffered from problems, therefore they will transfer the lesson to their children. So that is the cause, and then the result will be the how it was affected the children. Then the counterpart of cause, it is the effect. It is more focusing to the effect. What is the result? What is the consequence? Or what is the outcome? As a result, Generation Z becomes more sensitive with their savings and future matters. So that is the result, because the Generation Z, our generation become budget friendly, or we are really saving our money because we learn from the lesson from our parents that money really matters in terms of achieving our goals. So we should be organized. So that is focusing on the effect, because we can see in the example that as a result, so meaning the source is through the effects or result. Then problem solution, it is like the cause and effect. Does the term being defined represent a problem or a solution? Generation transition really affects even the environment, that some areas are sacrificed for developments. However, it can be a way to fix the gap by starting a new generation which cares for nature. So the problem is about the environment. Then the solution will be to start the new generation by caring, by teaching them how to love our nature. So what is the problem? What is the solution? But still, you are defining a particular term. So the term is generation transition. The problem will be environmental issue, and solution will be teaching the new generation, because it is transition, meaning it is not stopping, it's unstoppable, because changes are always there. Then as time goes by, we are changing. So there is generation transition. So in statistics, it's very obvious again. If you will use research, if you will use a particular information based from study, for example, 3 out of 5, according to the OH, according to our government, according to ONHS, according to our teacher, according to the study of our teacher. So if you will use that, then that will fall under statistics. Because when we say statistics, you have information, you have percentages, amount. 3 out of 5 voted yes, 3 out of 10 are negative from that. So you can use that as a definition. So uses or application, when you say this kind of source is for what is the essence of that term. For example, what is the use of Generation Z? It is also used to determine different significant evolvement of human intelligence and way of interaction. So the essence of Generation Z, we can see how we evolve, how we change our lifestyle, ourselves for the betterment. Then similarities, differences. So we will focus on how they are different from one another. So there should be 2 terms because we are giving their similarities. So that we have millennials and I generation, or generation Y to generation Z. So they are both exposed to internet and social media. So they are similar, that they are different generation, but they are both exposed in internet and social media. So that is the similarity. So I hope you can understand. Then the classes, types, or categories, like what I have explained a while ago, that classes or where they belong. For example, English, it is under the 8 subjects that you have. So that is the category. Or example, reading, writing, viewing, which are really significant or under English subject. Or for example, cooking, computer, or using computer, handicrafts, or are related or under the category of TLE. So they are, you will just tell, or you will use definition which thing they belong. And the last one, example, you will give example. For example, how will you define Generation Z? By giving example. These are the people, can be the young TikTok users, young bloggers, and young social media influencers. So that is example of Generation Z. It's very easy. Word origins. So when we say word origins, how the word originated. For example, the letter I in I generation, it means individualized, meaning this generation is very independent with themselves, that we can stand alone. Even sometimes we don't need someone to teach us, but because of many interventions, of many improvement, we can simply watch on YouTube or tutorial for us to really learn something. So that is word origin. You will chop, or you will divide each word that you will find in that term. For example, the word trendy that we have a while ago. What is the word origin? From the word trend, meaning it is trending. So it's very easy. The negatives, meaning of negatives, we will focus which is not a help. For example, the term Generation Y and Generation Z are not really related in their generations, because they just followed the name Generation X. So when I say negatives, it is not, we are giving definitions that explaining that a particular thing is not related to our main term. For example, our main term is Generation Y and Generation Z. So what is the thing which is not related to them? The word or the letter Y and the letter Z. For a while. Okay. So the letter Y and Z are not related because it is named after Generation X. It becomes Generation Y because it comes after Generation X. Then Z comes after Y. So X, Y, Z. So they are next to the alphabet. So that is the reason. But they are not really having the main reason, or it does not affect. For example, Z. We are under Generation Z. But the letter Z is not really have exact meaning with us. So that is negative. It is not really direct effect to us. So advantage, disadvantage, is it helpful or not? So what is the advantage of a particular term? So you will give the meaning by giving the benefit. Example, generation transition really improves technology which gives ease to people. However, some values fade out. So advantage of generation transition, the meaning of generation transition by giving advantage is we really improve the technology by using gadgets or other applications in many ways. However, the disadvantage, values such as respect, the love for other people, helping other people, sometimes it is fading. that we tend, because of lack of interaction, lack of communication to other people, we tend to forget some of the values. So that is the disadvantage. So again, we have description, meaning the description or the explanation, process narration, the steps or the reason why particular term is happening. Additional definition, you will just give historical background from the history that happened before. Cause, you will focus on the reason why a particular thing is happening. Then effect, what is the major effect or result or outcome of that term. Then problem and solution, you will give the meaning by simply having what is the problem of having that term and the solution itself. Then statistics from the research or study. Then uses application. These are the benefits, similarities, differences, classes, types, categories. Then examples, word origins, negatives, advantages, and disadvantages. So those are the sources. So when we say sources, we can give meaning through that source by giving example, by giving the word origin, the advantage, the cause, the effect. So we will not just simply focus on the dictionary, because in dictionary, we will just have a short definition. So how we will expand it, how we will extend the definition, by giving more information through example, word origins, or advantage. So maybe you are thinking, what is the purpose of expanded definition? Because if you will really study, pursue your study, you will make your thesis, you will make your research, you will make many paperworks in senior high school, in college, and you will really define, for example, your subject is just about education, online education, then you have to make 3 pages. So you will not simply copy from the dictionary. Maybe you will not prolong your text from a 3 pages because it is very short. The definitions in dictionary are short. So we should always expand the definition, extend the definition by using example. For example, online education, you will give examples that you have experienced. You will give the word origin, what is online, what is online education, what is education, then what is the advantage, disadvantage. So these are the ways for us to really explain a particular term. And we have techniques. So we have 11 techniques. The first one is etymology. When you say etymology, it explains the origin of the word itself. For example, classroom. The etymology from the word class, then the room. So that is a room for conducting a class. So that is etymology from because you will explain the definition from the word itself. You will divide based from the words that you can see to the main term. For example, your main term is ball pen or classroom, meaning you can find a particular term that will define itself. Then the history, like what I have said, I explained it before. Then cause and effect, description. Description, you will just give the parts. For example, you will explain what Instagram is. What is a description? There is posts, there are stories, close friend or public. Then you can private or public. So you will describe based on the appearance or the components it has. Then cause and effect, reason, outcome. Then principles of operation. So these are discussing how topic in question functions, including any special materials or condition required. So when you say principle of operation, how it is done, like the process narration. Then classification, what category, contrast or negation, it is the difference between the two. For example, English and math, you will differentiate between the two. What is the contrast? What is negative or the differences between the two? What are the differences between the two? Then 8, comparison, like what I have said, the similarity, how they are interconnected with one another. For example, social media. Social, meaning interaction. Then media, it is your way, it is your platform. So the comparison, it can be both ways in having communication. So analogy, explaining by comparing two unlike topics. For example, we have two topics which are very not similar to one another, but we will see the relationship. For example, ball pen is to write. Then the next one will be mic is to speak. Meaning that what is the relationship between ball pen and to write? Meaning the ball pen is used for writing, then microphone is used for speaking. So we will see the relationship of a particular two terms. So that is analogy. So most of entrance examination in college uses, or most entrance exam uses analogy. So you will use, or you will identify what is the relationship of things. For example, laptop is to study, then bottle is to drink. So what would be the relationship? It is based from the use. So in our next topic, we will discuss more about that. Then example, I explained it a while ago. You will just give example. You will give situations which are related to the definition you are explaining. Then 11, illustration. So when you say illustration, you can use also pictures. You can also use tables or representation of your information. So these are, again, maybe you are wondering, you are questioning, what is the essence of expanded definition? Because in your study, if you will make a research, if you will make a study or a thesis, research paper, essay, you will not simply copy what is in the dictionary, but you have to expound it from yourself. I know that you are loving English because I can hear, I can listen to you that you can speak in English, that you can write in English, because I am reading your answers, even your modules. So that is the reason why I have selected you, because I know that you have the desire in learning English. And if you will really learn what expanded definition, you can be an efficient language user. So sometimes we are amazed of other people. They are really verbose. They are very fluent in English. That is because of expanded definition. Also, like I know Shin, Carl, and Anton, they are very interested with pageants. For example, Rabia, Catriona, they are very fluent in English because they can use expanded definition. They can use example. For example, they will define the build program. How they will define it if they don't know it. So by giving example, build program, it's for the people. You will explain its advantage, disadvantage, the cost, the effect. So because of that, you will give your own definition which are not based from the dictionary. Meaning it's your own definition, you are giving your own idea based on a particular topic. So that is one way for us to become really fluent in English. And I can hear in your TTC, for example, in TTC, it's very short. Diba? The quotation that you are sending to the GC, it's very short. It's only one sentence. But if you will use expanded definition, you can be fluent. It will be longer than the usual, because you can explain it not only because of the definition that you can get out of dictionary, out on Google, but you can explain it by yourself. So that is expanded definition. So how important to use expanded definition in your own idea? Shin, Carl, what do you think is the use of expanded definition?
It is used to
Yes, Chin Carl. Like what I have said a while ago, where can you use it? The expanded definition. We will go back to Shin Carl. How about Diane May?
It is important to use expanded definition because you can express your knowledge, your to the topic, and you can
Okay.
share your understanding to others.
Okay, very good. That is the main purpose. That based on what you have understood, but based on what you have learned, you will not simply read what the dictionary is saying, what is the Google saying, but by your own words, you can simply define a particular term. Yes, Jethro? You're raising
Nothing,
your
sir.
hand. Okay. Shin Carl, do you have anything to say?
Yes po.
Okay.
An extended definition may explain the word's etymology or historical roots, describe sensory characteristic of something, like how it looks, feels, sound, taste, smell. Identify its part, indicate how something is used, explain what is not, provide an example of it, and or not similarities or differences between this term or other words or things.
Okay, thank you, Shin Carl. So when we say expanded definition, these are the ways for us to define. So example, we can sound intelligent, we can sound as bright one because we can say more. That sometimes we are saying it is just from dictionary or in Tagalog. So dictionary lang naman nakuha yan or it is just copy paste. Right? You can say that to other people, but using expanded definition, you can clearly give your own definition, and it will really make you intelligent. It will really make you resourceful of the information that you are giving. Then we will proceed to our activity. So kindly prepare your paper. You will determine what types or techniques of expanded definition are being used in the given sentences. From the choices below, write the correct letter of your answer. Okay, you will just simply answer from A, B, C, D, E, or F. 1. Freegan. It is a word from free and vegan. Is it cause and effect, contrast and negation, etymology, example, description, or history? Based on the discussion that we had. So if you will divide the word, the main word which is freegan, is it cause and effect, contrast, etymology, example, or description? Number 2, it is a fact that we have many wasted food, at the same time unemployment. As a result, there are freegans. From the word itself, as a result, what do you think is the technique of expanded definition? Number 3, social media is not to zone out people, but to make us responsible. Again, social media is not to zone out people, but to make us responsible. Number 4, plastic footprints are the plastic that someone has consumed, like plastic cups, bottles, straws, and other things made from not natural materials. So, how plastic footprints is defined? Is it by using example, description, history, etymology, contrast, or negation? Then number 5, let us make environmental actions buzzy. It is like watching movie, riding a bike, traveling a place, and visiting beach that give thrill to our life. Is it history, description, example, etymology, cause and effect, contrast, or negation? Okay, let us check. Number 1. What do you think is the answer? What do you think is the answer, Diane?
Letter C po.
Letter C, etymology. Very good. Number 2. Anton, what do you think is the answer? It's very easy. We have the word as a result.
A po.
Okay, very good. Cause and effect. So number 1, etymology. Number 2, cause and effect. Number 3, social media is not to zone out people, but to make us responsible. Shin Carl, what is your answer in number 3?
Hello po, sir. Ako po ba?
What is your answer?
Ako po, sir.
Yes.
Ano po?
Number 3.
Letter D po.
Letter
Letter
D.
E po.
Letter E. Okay, very good. Description. Because it's describing what social media is. And number 4, plastic footprints. Janaya. Number 4. Okay, Shin Carl, kindly mute your mic and jet. Thank you. Janaya. Okay, number 4. Yes. Dayan, what is your answer, Dayan? Number 4.
Letter F.
Letter
F.
F.
Opo.
Okay. That someone has consumed like plastic cups, bottle straws, and other things made from natural materials. So it can be letter E or letter D, example. Because the example are plastic cups, bottles, straw, and not natural materials. Or it can be description because it is described. Okay. And then, thank you. Number 5, it is letter D, example. Because the example, what buzzy is, it is like watching movie. It is like riding a bike. So it's example. So what is your score, Anton?
Sir, ano yung sagot sa 4?
4, it's letter D or E. What's your score? What is your score? Shinkar, what is your score?
4 po out of 5, sir.
Okay, very good. How about Dayan?
3 po.
Yeah, okay, so you all passed. So we will proceed to the next one. You will connect the words in column A with the meanings given in column B. So what is millennial? What is I generation? Authenticity, fleeting, and belie. So is it A, get lost and confused? B, people who use gadgets and other high-tech things at very young age. C. Truthfulness of something. D. The people who came after Gen X but became familiar with internet and social media. E. Passing in short or fast manner. I explained it a while ago from the text, generation, transition. I will give you 1 minute to answer that. Okay, do you have your answers now? Okay. Let us check. Number 1, millennials. What do you think is the answer? Jethro.
Letter D po, sir.
Okay, very good. Letter D. Number 2, I generation. Okay, Jethro again.
Letter B po.
Letter B. Letter boy. Okay, very good. Authenticity. Number 3. Can answer? Dayan.
Letter C po.
Letter C. Very good. Number 4. Fleeting. Jethro.
Letter E po.
Very good. Passing in short or fast manner. Then, number 5, belay. It's obvious. It is the remaining letter. It is letter A. Get lost and confused. And then, you will proceed to the next activity. I will just ask you, so no need to answer it on your paper. So read the following text in each number and identify what source of expanded definition is used. Is it category, cause, historical background, negatives, result, or similarities? Number 1, time reveals consistent changes and no one in the universe can stop it. As time continuously runs, generation takes its transition too. It includes how people live and interact during their generations, considering the factors that affect their personalities. Millennials and Generation Z are under generation transition that the world has. Is it category, cause, historical background, negatives, result, or similarities? So we have here the word under, meaning it is under generation transition. So what do you think is the technique or source of expanded definition? Who can answer? We have the word under, meaning? Yes, Jethro?
Category po.
Okay, very good. It is category. The number 2, I will just read the underlined one. Due to explosion of internet and social media in millennials who might be their parents, Generation Z becomes more interested. What do you think? Due to or because of? What is the answer? Is it negatives, cause, result, historical background, or similarity? Who can answer? It's very obvious because of the word due to, because of.
Sir, is not answer.
Yes. Shinkar, what is your answer?
Result po, sir.
Result. Okay, it can be result if the underline is because becomes more interested. We have the word due to, meaning it is the reason or the okay. Sorry. Then for number 3, based on some philosophers, they are named after letter because Generation X was discovered with no particular name. We have the word here, based on some philosophers. Is it category, cause, historical background, negatives, result, or similarities? What do you think is the answer? Based on some philosophers.
Sir, I know the answer.
Yes, what is the answer?
History po.
Okay, very good. It is history because it is explaining what happened before. How about number 4? Generation Y is called Millennials, not because they are millennium, but they are more exposed to internet and social media, which brought significance. So I will give you a clue. A while ago, I said that there are things which are not really helpful or which are not really directly affect the term. What is it? Is it cause, negatives, result, or similarity? So it is not really directly the meaning. What is the answer? Any guess? Like here, it is not generation, it is not millennium. So millennium has no significant relationship with millennials. But they are called millennials because they are more exposed to internet. What do you think is the answer? Any guess? Dayan? Is Dayan here?
Similarities po.
Similarities. Okay. Can be, but the answer is negatives. Again, when we say negatives, these are the ideas that it is not directly affecting the main term. For example, like what I had said, the letter Y and Z, it is not the real meaning of millennial and I generation, but they are just because of they just came after X, Y, Z. So last, you have it led to I generation to secure fund and saving because they witnessed the hardships. So it is the outcome. Therefore, the answer will be, is it cause, result, similarities?
Sir, I know.
Result po, sir.
Okay, result. Very good. So this one, it will be answered on your paper. We will compare your scores before the discussion to the score after the discussion. So same procedure, you will just choose one letter. Is it A, B, C, or D? So let me read it for you. So 1 to 15. Number 1, it helps the reader to understand a complex term where there are many extended clues that will be found in the text to support the discovery of a definition of a complex word. A, dictionary. B, expanded definition. C, figurative language. D, thesaurus. It's very easy. Number 2, it is the first thing to do in making an essay using expanded definition. A. Create own title. B. Compose formal sentence definition. C. Cite different examples related in the complex word. D. Include situations where the complex word is applied. Number 3. It follows and strengthens formal sentence definition in making an expanded definition. A. Concluding statements. B. Introduction. C. Examples. D. Supplementary definition. It follows and strengthens formal sentence definition. So before we start, okay, I will give you a clue. So I forgot it a while ago that there are steps in making expanded definition. The first one is to make your formal sentence. So that is the definition you based from the dictionary. Meaning, for example, I got a definition about I-generation from dictionary. Then that will be my formal sentence definition. So that is the first step. You will cite the formal, meaning it is from a very valid, very credible source, such as dictionary. Then the next step will be your supplementary definition. But when you say supplementary, supplement, additional, you will give additional information. It can be example, negatives, cause and effect, and so much more as what we have discussed a while ago. Then the next will be the concluding statement as your, what is the main or the summary of that definition. So that's for number 20. Number 4, it is an expanded definition technique that uses imagery. So when we say imagery, how you imagine, what is the taste, how it looks like, what is the taste, the smell, the appearance, like that. Is it classification, description, comparison, etymology? So in what technique you will use those? So what is the appearance, like that? It is part of A, B, C, or D. The number 5, it is an expanded definition technique that uses the origin and the structure of the word. A, classification. B, description. C, comparison. D, etymology. So we will just check first the 5 ones. What is your answer in number 1? 1 to 5. Chin Carl. Number 1, what is your answer?
C po.
Number 1, it helps extended clues. What do you think? Dictionary, expanded, figurative language, or thesaurus?
Letter A, sir.
Extended. When you say extended,
Letter B, sir.
expanded.
Expanded definition.
Number 2, what is your answer? Based on what I have said a while ago lang. What will you do first? You will make your own
Statement.
You will make your own, yes. What's that? Letter
B, sir.
D. Very good. Number 3. After making your formal sentence definition, what will you add? A, B, C, or D? In Carl pa rin. What will you add?
Supplementary
Okay,
definition.
very good. How about number 4? That uses imagery. You are giving this, or you are describing. Therefore, it is letter
B po.
D. Very good. The number 5, from the origin and structure of the word.
Classification, sir.
Classification. When you say origin, you will divide the word. For example, classroom. Class, then the room.
Etymology, sir.
Etymology, very good. Okay, number 6 to 10. Okay, kindly mute your microphone. Thank you. It is an expanded definition technique used to define words. The author explains the complex word by citing the reason why it is happening and the result it brings. The reason, the result. A, cause and effect. B, comparison. C, contrast and negation. D, etymology. Number 7. It is an arrangement of people or things into groups based on ways that they are alike. They are alike. So, groups where they are alike. Arrangement of people into groups. Classification, comparison, description, or etymology. Number 8. It is comparison between two things, typically for the purpose of explanation. Comparison of two things. It is like what I told a while ago. For example, ball pen is to write. Then microphone is to speak. What is that? Number 9. All of the following sentences are correct about expanded definition except A. Expanded definition contains different information to explain complex word. B. It helps reader to connect information on specific word. C. It is helpful but not used in professional and formal text. D. It aims to clarify complex words which can be through giving examples and history. So which is not true? A, B, C, or D. Number 10. Following statements are true about making essay using expanded definition except A. The author may add additional supplement or additional definitions. B. The author may use statistics. C. The author may start by giving situations and examples related to the complex word. D. The author may integrate the process and classification. It belongs to see how complex word is originated. Okay, number 6. What do you think is the answer? Anton? Is Anton here?
Ako po ba, sir?
Yes, Jetro. Number 6. What do you think is the answer, Jetro? Reason and result.
A po.
Very good. How about number 7?
Ako pa rin po ba, sir?
Yes, until 10.
Letter B po.
Letter B. When you say groups, you will group them in what, and you will categorize them. Therefore, it will fall under letter
A.
A. Very good classification. 8. It is comparison between two things. For example, ball pen is to write, microphone is to speak. What do you think is the answer?
A po.
A. Analogy. Very good. Number 9. What is not true?
Letter C.
Okay. Correct. Because expanded definition is also used in professional and formal text. Number 10. It is confusing.
Letter A.
Okay, good try. Very good. But how, based on what I have said a while ago, how will you start the expanded definition? By formal sentence. But letter C, it is said here that the author may start by giving situation. Therefore, the letter C is the answer. So you will not start by giving situation immediately, but you will start by giving formal sentence. And then the last part, herd immunity is widely referred as community immunity. This includes reducing or decreasing the number of active cases might be because previous exposure or due to vaccination in particular group of people or place. Herd immunity is monitored based on the statistics and information about the speed and growth of cases in particular regions or places. 3. Herd, which means group of people, and immunity, which means protection. These are parts of preventing or stopping the transmission of disease or virus. So in number 3, it is divided herd and immunity to define each of term. Number 4, United States of America, China, and other countries are now having vaccines to attain herd immunity. So there are samples of countries who are using or who are wanting to achieve herd immunity. Then last, in my own opinion, people should be mindful on what they do because no one can tell what will happen next. So number 11, what sentence is not necessary in the text, or what do you think is not related, is not needed, that we can remove? Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Number 12, what part of the text uses examples as an expanded definition? Example. What is the example which using herd immunity? Is it 2, 3, 4, 5? Number 13, what sentence is the formal sentence definition located? Or where, in what sentence? 1, 2, 3, 4. When you say formal sentence, it is the formal definition you based from dictionary or other source. 1, 2, 3, or 4. Number 14, what sentence can be considered as a supplemental definition? When you say supplemental, it is supporting the formal sentence. 1, 2, 3, or 4. The number 15 is very easy. Which of the sentences used etymology? When you say etymology, it from the word itself, herd immunity. What is the meaning of herd? What is the meaning of immunity? Then what is the meaning as a whole? Okay, may I hear from Diane?
Wait lang po.
Okay, take your time.
Number 11 po, letter D.
Letter D. Okay, very good. Because in my own opinion, you should not remember an obedience. You should not include opinion because expanded definition, it should be true. All information are factual. Then number 12, what is the part of the text uses example? Number
A po.
A. What is the example? Example who are achieving herd immunity.
Ano po? C.
C. Very good. Number 4 because example USA, China, and other countries. Very good. Number 13. Formal sentence. It's very easy. Formal sentence should be the beginning. Therefore, the answer will be
A po.
A1. Then, if the formal sentence is number 1, it should be followed by supplemental definition. Therefore, the answer will be
Letter B po.
okay. Then, number 15, etymology.
Letter C.
Letter C. Very good. So, what is your score? Kindly count your scores. So, 1 to 15. Then, we will differentiate. Compare your scores a while ago. Okay, Jethro, what is your score?
14 po, sir.
Okay, very good. From 3, your score now is 14. Diane,
14 po.
14, very good. You also increased. Chin,
13 po, sir.
13, very good also. Then, Christine,
12 po.
well, very good. You all passed. And Janaya, I think she lost her internet. So, congratulations. But before we end, so let us have this. So, for your performance task, explain to young Bulakenyo the beauty of Bulacan by writing 2 to 3 paragraphs using the different expanded definition techniques. Then, your main word will be rip snorter, which means extraordinary. Then, write your answer on another sheet of paper. So, for example, there is a very young Bulakenyo. How will you explain to that young Bulakenyo the beauty of Bulacan? Because we are in quarantine, maybe that young Bulakenyo is not allowed to go to different places in Bulacan. So he is really wanting to know about the beauty of Bulacan. So you will use the word rip snorter, then you will define it based from the dictionary. Then the next sentence, you can use example, you can use cause and effect, like the techniques that we have discussed. Then you will consider this rubric. Definition, if you have a well definition, very comprehensive definition, then you will get 5. Word choice are all words really helping for have to clear understanding, then you will get 5. Sentence fluency, meaning they are interconnected with one another. They are really supporting the word rip snorter. So remember that 60% of your grade will be under performance task. So stay safe, stay at home. So thank you. Learning is everywhere. I hope that you really learn from our discussion that it is not about what we have, but it's not about what we don't have, but it's about how we will use what we have. So based on the expanded definition, based on what we learned, based on what we know about particular term, we can prolong, we can explain more about a particular term. So we should always open for changes. So even though we are different from other generation, from previous generation, and from the future generation, at least if we learn how to value, to respect, to love, to accept one another, still there will be no problem. Because at the end of the day, it is not what we have. It is not what kind of cell phone we have. How many likes do we receive? It's not about that, but it's about what we can give to other people, how we interact with the other people despite of our differences. And if you still have question, you are free to message your English teacher. You are free to message. Do you have any question? Okay, if you don't have any question, let us call it a day. Thank you and stay safe.